And then what I did is me and some of my executive team, we spent a lot of time building our own like company and personal brand around this. We wanted to be the number one trusted voice for the future of fundamental technology, to be used for software, no matter what it was. And so we approached this as a brand building exercise. And so I did a lot of, as I would say, like one-on-one. I'll convince the whole world one person at a time if I need to. But I did a lot of talks, a lot of speaking, a lot of writing, a lot of blog posts, a lot of Medium articles, a lot of commenting in threads on GitHub. Like I wanted to engage.
You personally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
that was like a huge part of my job, probably 50, 60%. Now that gave me a two-sided, not only could I help turn into the authoritative expert on this kind of problem set, I could also learn a ton, right, from the most interesting people. And so that was first step number one, because I firmly believe that big enterprises to small, they don't buy from companies, they buy from people. And I really needed to get some people to trust us in an abnormal way and go on a journey. Because I was never promising that the product that you could use today was actually the thing you were buying. You're buying our future. You were aligning with us. And that's how, like, I think 2.5 years in, we won a contract with Sprint to power their mobile network, which is insane because they shouldn't pick us. But what they were trying to do was build a mobile network for the future. And they felt that we were the most aligned and, that we were thinking out towards the same way they were. Now, it was an incubated project. They went and built a separate network from their kind of core consumer network, which was like smart, but that was like an example of how we won early customers, which, and that's different from users because we had a ton of users. We wanted to create a free tier. We couldn't. Infrastructure is hard. So we gave out where we could to communities, open source ecosystems, et cetera. And then we made it as friction-free as we could for new users to start adopting our value and giving us feedback. But we never were confused. Actually, I had to explain this so many times to my board. They're like, look, you have like $100,000 in revenue. You've figured it out. I'm like, those are just my users who are paying to try and tell me about the thing. They're not my customers. That's not our target. They're paying. I value them. I'm going to support them. But that is not where I'm going. We've got like a multi-layer cake because I got to get to the top, some of those. And it turns out like one of my first users was Mitchell at HashiCorp. And he, became a great customer and a great, I'm going to call it a future company, top company of the world based upon technology. But they were like him and Armand and like two people at the time. So it was not yet there. And so sometimes this kind of like dichotomy of the user, which is adopting and testing and using and telling you versus your customer, which was Sprint, they're not the same, right? And so that confused my board for a little while. So we got a lot of users, and then we started through this halo effect to get people who came to us and said, I'm really trying to run ARM servers out at the edge because I got this machine learning thing, or like I'm trying to do this thing and it's not what the normal cloud computing can offer for me. Or, for example, the Cloud Native Computing Foundation came to us and said, we really want to build for multi-arch, which is what you're talking about all the time. And we believe in that too. And so then ARM came to us and AMD, and they said, hey, how could we work with you? And so that was how we got our first customers.